Hey guys, welcome to the Groovin Ruben YouTube channel. I'm Groovin Ruben, and today we're going to talk about my top 5 jazz records. So yeah, let's dive into it. These are the top 5 jazz records in my collection. Let's do it right now. I've already removed the protective outer sleeves. I'll set these aside. I'm going to start my top 5 jazz here with one of the greats, one of the most well-known jazz musicians, I think, in history, really. Louis Armstrong and His Friends is the title of this album, and the man of the hour is Louis Armstrong. Of course, he's one of the most famous people, really, in music and especially in jazz. And on this album, there's a nice track list. This is it truly is one of my favorite albums by Mr. Armstrong. I mean, it's truly fantastic. The sound quality is amazing, and even though this copy that I own is pretty beat up, really, I mean, it's mostly just cosmetic. I mean, the record inside is in fairly good condition. I'm not going to lie and say that it's perfect or pristine. There's a couple of scratches here and there, but nothing so deep that it affects the sound, really, to my ears. There's like hairline fractures here and there, maybe like tiny little hairline, like this tiny scratches, nothing major. And so the playback is amazing. I don't mind a little crackle and little noise with my records. That's just kind of par for the course, really. I know people will disagree, and everybody has their opinions, but I'm not in here to get into any of that stuff. I'm not trying to shoot for that kind of content on this channel. I just want it to basically be a show and tell, and to discuss various artists that I enjoy and music that I listen to, and hopefully y'all will enjoy the show and tell aspect of the show. I'm not really here to tell you what to buy, what turntable is better than the other, which turntable is the best, or which headphones are the best, or this, that, and the other. I'm not an audiophile. My hearing is, I would say, just about average. I don't have a superhuman hearing, superhuman ears. I don't have superhuman hearing by any means. I can't hear a pin drop from a mile away. So for my tastes, for my listening experience, I'm not too picky. I'm not all that pretentious, really. I hate to use that word because I don't mean any disrespect, but you know what I'm going for. I'm just a collector who enjoys collecting, and who just enjoys the hobby, and I enjoy music in general. I don't care what format it's on. I don't care if it's on cassette tape or CD or vinyl record, or digital download, MP3, iTunes. I don't care. As long as the music is good, that's all that matters to me. And every format has its place, in my opinion. Maybe with the exception of 8-track, but nobody really has 8-track these days anyway. So yeah, that's one of the very few exceptions. But pretty much just about every format has its place, in the modern age, I would say. Certainly in history, which is what I love. I love history. And anyway, getting back to this piece of history right here. Sorry I went off on that tangent there, but I wanted to kind of explain myself a bit. Anyway, we have Give Peace a Chance here. This is the track listing. Give Peace a Chance. Everybody's Talking. His Father Wore Long Hair. Mood Indigo. The Creator Has a Master Plan. Peace. We Shall Overcome. My One and Only Love. The Black Cat Has 9 Lives. Boy from New Orleans. What a Wonderful World. Of course, this is like the big classic. Everybody loves this song. I mean, pretty much everyone's heard this song. My parents used to always play this for me on my birthday. This is like my birthday song, What a Wonderful World. So it's kind of, at first I kind of hated it because I heard it so often and it was kind of cheesy and kind of embarrassing, but now I've learned to love it. I mean, it is a fantastic song. And in this particular version of the song, in this album, he sings it bearing in mind the horrors of the early 70s and the Vietnam War, and so he kind of like talks to the audience, and he kind of gives a little um introspection, or a little of his input as to why the world is still wonderful in his view, and what he means by that. And he definitely doesn't shy away from the fact that the world is not all uh, positive. There's a lot of negativity and a lot of horrible and terrible things that happen. But I like basically what I like is that he talks to the audience quite a bit in this album, and it's a live album. It's live. Or at least it's meant to appear as a live recording. I'm not entirely sure if it's truly live or studio. It's kind of like complicated with these things, whereas sometimes they'll record actual live performances and then they'll re-record them in the studio. It's been done many times with Kiss, especially. The Kiss Alive is one of the first and one of the most notorious, because it was definitely mostly done in studio, but meant to sound as if it was produced in a live setting, or recorded in a live setting, but in actuality, the majority of it was manufactured later in a studio setting somewhere. But nonetheless, it still has that vibe, and I'm sure that there's there's definitely truth to it. I'm sure he would actually say these things in a live setting, regardless. So he's speaking to us, the audience, the listeners. So it still works for me, regardless what the case is on that. Anyway, as you can see here, it may have been a library copy. I'm not sure, because there's a strange tag up here. 5.42 Armstrong AM 12009. I have no idea what that means, but that's stuck on there. I'm not going to try to rip it off. The price tag on there, I believe I paid $2 for this. This came from a great record store in Dallas, by the way. It's called Josie Records. A great record store in Dallas called Josie Records is where I picked this up, and it's truly phenomenal. I highly recommend it. We got that Flying Dutchman Amsterdam logo there. I don't know what that really. I guess it's the label or the record pressing. I'm not entirely sure. Stereo AM 12009. A bunch of information here written on the jacket here. Louis Armstrong and his friends. Again, a repeat basically of the front cover. It's just, the same on the front and back, except you can tell this is the back because of this right here, produced by Bob Thiel, I believe, or Thiel, and a bunch of other information down here, which is not on the other side. And of course, we know it's the front because this opens like a book, from left to right, and so it's a gatefold, which is great. It's beautiful, and as you can tell below, you've already got a glimpse of the other record. Julie London. I'll be talking about that next. And I'm not going in any particular order, really. I'm just doing a top 5 in general. I pretty much like these records equally. I guess I could technically say that this is probably my favorite, although I'm introducing it as the first, as the number 5. But again, I don't really. There's no real order to the way that I'm going to present these. I enjoy these records pretty much equally across the board. So anyway, there's the interior, beautiful black and white photographs of Louis Armstrong and his collaborators and people that have worked with him on this particular project. Louis Armstrong and his friends, the title of the album right there, and a big write-up, nice liner notes. Just a fantastic record. If you find this in the wild, I highly, highly recommend it. My copy's a little beat up, as you can tell. There's been some sticker damage and whatnot, but it doesn't bother me. I kind of like it this way, to tell you the truth. It's kind of like a piece of history, and it really, I don't know. I really get enjoyment out of these old, beat up, dusty record jackets and stuff. Mine is not dusty anymore. I've cleaned it off. I've cleaned it up, so don't get angry at me. I don't abuse my records. I clean them and take care of them. You know what I mean. I found this in the the used section at Josie Records, and it definitely is what it is. I had to clean it up quite a bit. Anyway, here's the interior. This is how it came. I probably not the original inner sleeve. I would highly doubt that. But anyway, there it is, and let's go ahead and pull out the record for you. There's the center label, and again, discard Vallejo Public Library System, Vallejo, California. Excuse my Spanish. Hey, I have a Spanish last name. I am Spanish. I am Mexican American, but I do not speak Spanish. As you can see, the reflection of my camera there. Interesting. Anyway, Amsterdam, Louis Armstrong and his friends. Just really nice artwork. I like this. I like looking at the center labels and things. Very well put together. Ultimately, as I said before, if you want to hear some of his classic tunes in a very raw and interesting live sounding setting, I can't recommend this album enough. It is truly one of his best, in my opinion. Very, very cool album. Highly worth picking up, especially for $2. Especially for $2, you can't go wrong. Louis Armstrong and his friends. Thumbs up for me. Love it. 5 out of 5. And okay. Anyway, now we are moving on to the next record on the top 10 list, or excuse me, top 5 list. I do have many more jazz records in my collection, but I decided to keep it simple, and I wanted this video to be as brief as possible. So that's why I kind of narrowed things down a bit and made a quick top 5. Hopefully it's quick. We'll see. Anyways, Julie London, for those of you who don't know who she is, she's an amazing lounge singer. And I would say jazz, it would be the genre, a jazz lounge singer. Fantastic musician, amazing artist. I just love this. I just love her sound. And I love this album. This is I believe this is her very first record, the very first album she put out, and it's just wonderful, man. It's just it's just wonderful. It just puts you in the mood, you know. It just puts you in a calm state of mind, and it makes you, I don't know, it makes you just feel relaxed and just it's just like a dreamlike environment, kind of like Roy Orbison would do for me. You know, I'm a big David Lynch fan. So this kind of like has that effect, or like a song like In Dreams or something, but kind of puts you in a trance. I think her voice puts people in a trance. At least it puts me in a trance. So I very much enjoy the work of Julie London, and this is my favorite album of hers, off of the Liberty label there. Spectrasonic sound and high fidelity recording. Anyway, there's the back, and each version of this album is a little different. I have a couple of versions. This is the one that I chose to show to you guys here today, but I have another version of another copy of this, and the back is a little different. The layout and the design, and I like that. It's very unique and different. It's what's so awesome about record collecting and stuff. Finding, you know, little differences, little variations in the artwork, in the cover, and even in the way that Liberty is written, and all this kind of stuff. It's just really cool. The liner notes, you just don't get this kind of stuff anywhere else. Even on CD, it's rare, unless you get a nice big fat booklet with your CDs, but that's very rare these days. So the best place to go for information and liner notes is old-fashioned vinyl records. Lots of cool stuff to be found in these things. This is not a gatefold. It is a standard record. And here we have the interior. The label right there is beautiful. Liberty. Again, you can see the reflection of the camera and the lights. Just try to ignore that. Yeah, just look how beautiful that is. I just love the artwork. I love label art. It's just phenomenal. And again, this is a fantastic record, top to bottom. I don't really have a specific track to recommend to you. Just the entire album is my recommendation. The entire record is worth picking up if you find it out in the wild. I highly recommend it. But I would say Cry Me a River, track number 1, is the standout track on this record. But the entire thing, top to bottom, is worth your time. If you like, you know, female vocals or easy listening, adult contemporary, soft jazz, lounge singing, this is the stuff for you. This is the album for you. I highly recommend the works of Julie London. This album is called Julie Is Her Name. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Good stuff. Another 5 out of 5 if we're going to keep doing a little rating system. Uh, all right, this is the original inner sleeve that came with this album. Jazz, samba, Stan Getz, Charlie Bird, Verve. I just found that to be interesting, so I held on to it. But I swapped out the inner sleeve on this one. But I just love that artwork. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's really cool. I love stuff like this. Anyway, here we have Jazz Samba, Stan Getz, and Charlie Bird. Love this artwork. You see this a lot in jazz. Jazz cover art is very abstract and very bizarre and beautiful. It kind of definitely goes well with the music. The music is kind of the same way. It's kind of like your own interpretation, and it's kind of it's all over the place, but it's controlled and it's just beautiful. So it makes sense. Every album I've seen from a jazz musician, just about 75% or more, has some kind of artwork or art style like this, like a Pablo Picasso or a strange impressionism, or just interesting art style. I just love it. Stereo, of course, very nice. There's that Verve logo again, kind of torn up because of an old sticker, which is too bad. But again, I don't mind it. I like the art. It kind of adds to it, actually. The fact there's a little damage, a little wear and tear doesn't bother me. It kind of adds to the mystique of this kind of stuff. And there we have the Verve logo right there again. The Jazz of America is on Verve. That's right. Jazz Samba, Stan Getz, Charlie Bird again. This pretty much the same as the front, just like the Louis Armstrong record, but without the image being duplicated on the back. And then we have a little extra information here. 2 jazz soloists play fresh, contemporary sounds from modern Brazilian folk music. Awesome possum. It's definitely what happens on this record. It's fantastic. And this one is also a gatefold, which is pretty cool. Again, awesome black and white photography of the musicians here, the artists. Jazz Samba, Stan Getz, Charlie Bird. You got Stan Getz, tenor sax, Charlie Bird, guitar. Keter Betts, I want to say, bass. Forgive me if I don't pronounce these names correctly. Gene Bird, bass and guitar. I wonder if he's related to Charlie Bird. Probably, I don't know. Buddy Deppenschmidt, I believe, on drums, and Bill Reichenbach on drums as well. Again, forgive me if I say these names incorrectly. I'm a fan of the music, but I don't necessarily know. How to pronounce the names of every artist that I follow and that I enjoy. And it's got some nice liner notes in here about Charlie Bird, about the rhythm section, about Stan Getz, about the music. Interesting stuff here. Worth picking up. Again, I love these old records for just the information, the wealth of information that you will receive on the inside. It's just fantastic. It's wonderful. I love that about these things. And the music on here is fantastic. Again, great jazz album. I just recommend you go and check it out. Just Google it. Look it up right here on YouTube. I'm sure there's someone who has uploaded this. I wish I could play these records for you, but I don't want a copyright strike, so I'm trying to avoid that. But I highly recommend each record that I'm showing to you guys today. Really, it's totally worth your time to check this out if you're a fan of jazz. And of course, we have the big one, the one pretty much everybody knows, even if you don't love jazz. Dave Brubeck Quartet, Time Out, the stereo and mono versions, which is what makes this particular set unique. Paul Desmond, Eugene Wright, Joe Morello. Very, very cool album. Again, a gatefold. Fantastic gatefold. Take a look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's just beautiful. It's made out of thick cardstock too. This is one of the thickest materials I have come across for a record case, or whatever you call it, the container. It's very thick, very well put together. Beautiful edition. Gatefold. There's the original artwork again. As I said earlier, the art is oftentimes abstract for jazz albums, and it makes sense. It works. It works very well. Yeah, very cool. I like the original. I have this version as well. I have 2 versions of this album, just as I do the Julie London record. But I chose this version to show you guys today because this is my favorite version. It's just amazing. It comes with both the stereo and the mono editions, which is why I love it. And a lot of great liner notes in here about the music, the musicians, and the history involved in the making of this album, and so on and so forth. It's just great stuff. Look at that awesome photo of the band right there, the group, the quartet. Just amazing stuff. The standout track is, of course, Take 5. I mean, everybody knows that song. If you don't know it, look it up. It's worth your time. I highly, highly recommend it. On the back here, there's Dave Brubeck right there. It's just fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Highly, highly worth picking this one up if you find it in the wild. I did not know this until recently. I just checked this out. It's a limited edition. First pressing of 1,000. I have number 670 out of 1,500. So that is pretty cool. I did not know that I had anything limited edition here. But all right, so that's Dave Brubeck Quartet, Time Out. I highly recommend the Dave Brubeck Quartet, Time Out. It's amazing, especially if you can find, again, the stereo and mono versions of the album. Highly recommend it. Okay, and last but not least, Ray Charles, A Man and His Soul. This is just a tremendous, tremendous album. He may be more of a bluesy type singer, or more of a gospel, R&B, rhythm and blues. But he's involved in a lot. He's been involved in a lot of different genres. When he was alive, of course, he has passed away. May he rest in peace. Highly recommend the movie, by the way, Ray, which came out in, I believe, 2004. So it's a little old, but it's very much worth checking out. I mean, I'm not an ageist kind of guy. I don't judge things based on how old they are. I mean, they can be 100 years old and still be amazing. I mean, time has nothing to do with anything, just the quality of whatever it is that was created. And I've got to say that the Ray Charles movie is a great movie, just called Ray. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. I don't have it in my collection currently. I did on Blu-ray a while ago, but I don't have it with me. I don't have it on me now. I don't have it in my collection currently, but yeah, it's tremendous. It's really a great it's a great movie, and this is a fantastic album. So let's dive into it. Another gatefold here. Wonderful photograph, again, black and white. Photograph seems to be a theme, huh? Black and white photograph of Ray. There's Ray Charles, A Man and His Soul, the title of the album here. It's a greatest hits collection, basically, and it has a book. It's really cool. It's kind of rare to find a record, an LP, that has a built-in booklet. Very cool. Nice big imagery. Nice big pictures there. Just like a magazine. Very, very cool. Look at that very iconic photo of him. That's pretty much been seen many times over. It's very nice. Lots of liner notes, lots of information. A great photo of the man there having a coffee or tea or something. And photograph of an audience waiting to hear the great man play some amazing music. Just fantastic. I would say the standout on this album would have to be Hit the Road Jack for me personally. I just love that song. But you get 2 records worth of awesome Ray Charles material. You got side 1, side 2 of the first, and side 3 and side 4 of the second record. Great stuff here. Ray Charles, A Man and His Soul, an anthology of his greatest recordings. Let's see. The songs I chose to sing the blues. I don't need no doctor. And Chitlins with Candied Yams were produced by Tangerine Record Corporation. Well, that's good to know. Anyway, my copy came signed by Larry May. So thank you, Larry May, for signing and autographing my copy of Ray Charles, That Man and His Soul. For whatever that's worth. Anyway, that's my top 5, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. All right, peace. Talk to you later. Bye. This works for me, so this is how I keep it. And there you have it. Ray Charles. Alright, top 5. Guys, enjoy. Peace.